It's the final group preview with journalists James Horncastle and David Preece, and I'm here as well. We've gone through all of them. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you do after this video. But this is, have we left the most interesting group till last? Because this is, I find this fascinating.
It's not alphabetical, James. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to know my alphabet for that for me to answer that question. Colombia, Senegal, Poland, Japan. Anyone could win this group.
Yeah.
But let's start at the bottom. Who's finishing fourth?
In food terms, Japan would win this group. But it's a football World Cup. Yeah. So I think Japan, because of some of the upheaval that they've had, change of manager recently. So late. Yeah, Halilhodžić was on his bike, which is a bit of a shame, I think. And then you look at their best players. I think they're all quite aging, veterans. I think it's probably the worst Japan side we've seen at a World Cup. It pains me to say it because I love some of the guys on this team. Yuto Nagatomo, for example. Naga, who is like the ultimate samurai. Saw him win the Turkish Super League with Galatasaray and do his kind of, it's not even samurai, it's just like Jedi stuff. Right. Keisuke Honda as well, who loves a double-breasted jacket.
Great info. Yeah. There you go. You get this nowhere else.
But yeah, so that's why it pains me to say it, but I think the sun is going down on the land of the rising sun.
Very good. Well done. Big names in this team: Yoshida Okazaki will be playing up front for them from Leicester. Kagawa. Only 12 games for Dortmund. It's only 29, but didn't have the season they probably wanted to. But yet, do you agree? Do you see them before?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the other three sides, it's not because Japan are so weak, but I think the other three sides are so strong.
Yeah, I mean, of the teams that will finish fourth, they'll be one of the better ones, if that makes any kind of sense. But the other three sides are really, really interesting because any of them could top this group.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for Senegal, and I just think it's a big reason that's Koulibaly as well. I think he's everything I'd want in a centre half. He's a great passer of the ball, but also he's brilliant in the air, really physical, and I like that. But not just them. I mean, obviously Sadio Mane. They've got a lot of European.
The spine of the team.
Yeah, really, exactly, and they've got a lot of European football experience in there in the top leagues as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You've got Koulibaly there. Had a great season with Napoli. That header, love it. Sadio Mane is going to be one of the star men up top. You've also got Kouyaté, Idrissa Gueye, who I love.
Yeah. They've got Pac-Men in midfield. Yeah, those guys can gobble up anyone. Yeah, they've got a lot of energy in that midfield. Gueye for a long time had Kante numbers. That was one of the reasons why Steve Walsh wanted to bring him in at Everton.
Often you can't see that on paper. Do you know what I mean? It's like a boxing match. Speed kills, and I wonder with there's such a strong physical side that they could, with talent, with real.
But they've
talent
got pace. I mean, as David was saying, you've got Mane, who we all know about, and it's part of that kind of lethal Liverpool attack. But the other guys up front for them, Keita Balde-Diao, who last year at Lazio was great. It's been at Monaco this year. Yeah. Had some ups and downs, but he's someone who can win games on his day. They're a very dangerous side, I would say. Peril to anyone who underestimates them, because I think they look to me as the best African side in the competition. I think people would have said Egypt a few weeks ago because of the X factor of Salah, but I think they look like the best ones around. Yeah,
and so with them in this group, you then look at Colombia and Poland, who are the first and second seeds for the group. And it now becomes it's going to be so tough for those two sides. So we must have seen that group initially. I think I saw it as well as an England fan. I thought, we'll get one of those three. Okay. But actually, it's when you're then in that group, that is tricky for all three of them because none of them totally stands out. But I mean, Colombia had a great 2014 World Cup. Recently beat France, one of the best squads in the World Cup. What do you think? What do you think about Colombia?
Yeah, the only worry for me with Colombia, they've got names, they've got some great players, but a lot of the bigger ones haven't had sort of lot of football this season. They're probably going to need David Ospina, who hasn't played a lot of football and hasn't played a lot of good football really this season. Falcao's sort of same, James Rodriguez. It can work the other way. I mean, you could possibly say they're going into this tournament and they're a lot fresher than the other sides who have played sort of 60-odd games this season. So it can work both ways, but that's just a worry for me.
Yeah, Rodriguez lit up the tournament last time. Some of the goals were just amazing. Are they a little over-reliant on him? Obviously, Falcao, 20 goals this season, so he's found his form again. He'll put them away. But in terms of creating them, is it okay that there's an over-reliance on Rodriguez?
Well, look, I think, Quintero, who a few years ago was seen as a very top prospect, has recently started to do well for them, started to do well for River Plate, really kind of resurrected his career. He could be a big surprise, I think, in this tournament. James Rodriguez, particularly when in the second half of the season at Bayern, was fantastic. That game against Dortmund, where they absolutely tore them apart. He was integral to that. I'm really pleased to see Falcao there, because we all remember the reason why James, or one of the reasons he lit up the 2014 World Cup was because Falcao wasn't there. He had that knee injury, couldn't get fit in time, and you think of his career since then. Loans at Chelsea, Man United, looked like he was finished. Yeah, and then he goes back, wins the league with Monaco. Champions League semi-final, scores loads of goals. Thrilled to see him at the World Cup. They
have consistency as well. Peckerman's been there a long time, 2012.
Yeah, and he's sort of brought in new ideas in terms of the staff that he's selected to go to the World Cup. He's got Esteban Cambiaso. He's going to be one of his assistant managers after just completing his coaching badges. I think one of the players who often gets overlooked for Colombia is Cuadrado, because he's a guy that Juventus will never sell, because he comes up with big moments. And if a game is tight and they come up against a team that park the bus, he can beat players in 1v1. A great dribbler.
I think Premier League fans often discount him because it didn't work at Chelsea.
Yeah, as they did with Salah. Fools. But I think the issue with Colombia maybe is the midfield, the two guys in midfield. Maybe not as good as we've seen in the past. And so I think they're dependent on their width, both at fullback and the wingers, the 10 position and the striker. I think that midfield is not as good as it has been in the past.
Okay, and the other side, the top seed for this group and the top 10 side in the world, Poland, qualified from quite a difficult group. And there's one man, isn't there, that you've got to talk about when it's Poland. 42 goals in 51 caps for Poland, 16 in 10 qualifiers, Lewandowski.
Yeah, he's a talisman for them, and it's an interesting summer for him because obviously it looks like he's going to be moving on as well. So it's a big tournament, and you think that if Poland are going to do anything this tournament, of course they're going to be reliant on him as well. But they're another Poland, another country with strength and depth in the goalkeeping department. It's Chesney and Fabianski, and it's Skorupski, yeah, of course, yeah, and it's.
It'll be Szczesny, will it?
Yeah, I imagine so. But it's similar to the England situation. I mean, even though I'm a big Jordan Pickford fan, I wouldn't be fussed in either way, whichever goalkeeper played. Obviously, he'd be my first choice. But it'd be similar. They can pick any one of those three, and it wouldn't weaken the team in any way.
That's good. Getting the ball to Lewandowski is obviously crucial, especially when you're going to be playing other teams that are such a strong group. They've got a sort of fast counter-attacking style. I just wanted to talk about Zielinski. Napoli playmaker, only 20. 14 starts in the Napoli side that's got a lot of attacking talent.
Yeah.
Is he going to be important for him? It's a lot of pressure for a 20-year-old.
He should be, because he could be one of the surprises of the tournament if he plays. He's legitimately gone to Napoli and said, why aren't I playing more? Part of that is because Marek Hamsik, the captain's ahead of him. But when he's played, he's been brilliant. Excellent team player, very associative, in terms of linking up, combining. Can score some wonderful goals, got great technique. And he's someone who can play either as a 10 or sort of on, in a three-man midfield. I think there are quite a few young players in this Poland side who will be knocking at the door to be saying, play me from the start. His kid at Sampdoria, Linetti, who again is energetic midfield player, who I think would do well in this side. And one of Zielinski's Napoli teammates, Milik, gives him another option if they want up front. Someone who they can
work. They've got workers in that team as well, haven't they?
Yeah. So, I think I was going to make Poland a bit of a dark horse going into this tournament, but they're on that side of the draw where quarterfinals. It's going to be difficult for them to do much better than that. But dangerous side.
Okay. Come on then. Who's finishing? Top two.
I definitely think Senegal are going to be one of them. Definitely. I'm not so sure about mine. No, I can't decide.
I think...
Who are we putting money on?
I'm going to say Colombia and Senegal.
Okay. I think Poland will make it out of that group,
Well, as long as Lewandowski scores the goals, I think they will. But
true. Come on, give us your second name.
I'll stick with James as well. I think Colombia. Yeah.
Okay. Right, are the guys right? Let us know in the comments below. This is a tough group. Who's going to make it out of it? If you haven't checked out any of the other group previews for this World Cup, then go and check them out on the Bull Street channel. Go subscribe to the Bull Street channel. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you very soon.